Okay, I'd like to call to order the Charlton Water Sewer Commission meeting, June 3rd, 2019, at 6:30 PM. And the public forum, I'm seeing no one here, so we're just going to go right over that. The agenda, warrants, abatements, and approval as needed. So minutes of water and sewer meetings. Do you have those for us, Jen, there?
I do. I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the May 6th meeting as printed.
Okay.
Second that motion?
All right, any discussion on that? All right, hearing none, moving forward, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
And
next
Jen, is that an
is,
aye?
that's an aye, sorry.
Okay, all right, so it's unanimous. Okay, next item. Warrants?
Make a motion to approve the warrants as listed. Commissioner's salary, 400. Beta Services, 3/2 to 4/26, 2019, $12,103.76. Mark D. Abrams, the water rate project through 5/10, $2,000. Osterman propane delivery, 1408.06. Franklin Electric grinder pump, $4,126.85. WB Mason office supplies, $4.38. We have a few for Viola emergency services for March, $320. 5E and 6W lab testing, $184. RBC 1 and 2 electrical work, $1,853.48. Grinder pump installed at 235 Sunset, $767.25. Viola again, North Main, transducer failure, $630.55. LaFord Electric for 62 Hollywood, $595. LaFord Electric for 31 Sunset, $300. WB Mason office supplies, $6.57. Toshiba, February 21 to May 20th, $63.29. Town of Charlton Electricity, February through May, $29,283.73. And Viola for May services, $38,486.07.
Okay, I have a second on that.
I second that.
Thank you, Paul. Discussion on any of those listed items?
I've got some, on the water rate project for Mark Abrams. Have we had any reports come in yet? Have we,
No, not at this time.
nothing, but he's still billed us for his time anyways.
Well, we had a meeting with Southbridge where we got some figures from them on what it costs them to operate the system. So Mark can take that and start figuring what they'll have for savings if we were to go consecutive and take over operations. Then from there, he's gonna try and calculate how much they can reduce the rate so that's saving, so they can still make the same amount of money. So he's working on that now.
And another one on Veolia, $1,800 for electric work. Is that's something maybe you can answer, Zach? That you guys did yourself, or did you sub it out to somebody and we're reimbursing you for that?
Is that one for the RBC?
That's for the RBC 1 and 2, the project
Yeah.
that we approved and went to town meeting for funding for. So
Yeah.
that was the electrical work to get those up and running.
Okay.
Fleur Electric.
If I may, exactly, what did they do for electrical work on those? Because they were already wired and,
But they were wired on the same circuit, so if you shut one down, you had to shut both down.
Okay.
So they rewired them, so now that you can lock out and tag out each RBC individually. So they had to rewire some of it,
rewired, put in new boxes?
yes.
Okay.
New lockout, tag out boxes, so you can shut them down independently.
Now, does, who does Veolia hire as far as the company to do that?
The electrical work
Right.
is LaFleur Electric.
Oh, it's LaFleur out of Bob? Okay. Okay, anything else? from
Most of the
anybody?
time, they still ask for it first. But
Well,
I
it
think
doesn't
that
matter.
was bigger
Okay.
than what he
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
do, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay,
I'm good.
you got any other? Yep. Dave, you all set?
I'm all
Yep,
set.
Yep, okay.
So I
Alright.
just need a second and a vote.
We have a
Paul
second from
seconded.
Paul, and now we're
Okay.
gonna do the vote, Jim. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Okay, and going back to the agenda, and do you have any abatements?
No.
No.
No abatements. Okay. So then, let's move on to new business. Excuse me, schedule appointments. We're a few minutes early, Zach, but that's okay. We've got a Bruins game to go to. So we'll step right up.
Alright, good evening. I'll cover the key points of the O and M report for April. Safety, there was no injuries for the month of April. Our training topic was confined space entry.
Excuse me, Zach, could you repeat that? I
Our-
didn't
The training topic was confined space
hear-
entry.
Could you move that microphone a little closer? Thank you.
That better? On April 23rd and 30th, for compliance, our E. coli results were above our daily maximum permit limit. The facility was experiencing high flows during the heavy rains. At the time of collection, the flows were above the UV system's designed flow. At the time, we also had all the UV system trains online. So we were doing the best we could do to maintain compliance, but it just wasn't enough because of the flows were really ripping through the plant at that time. This also resulted in a monthly average over the permit limit. Wastewater treatment plant, O&M. In April, we added the ability to remote access into the wastewater treatment plant's SCADA computer control system. Now the operators have the ability to view and make changes to the facility remotely from an iPad. The RBC covers for 1 and 2 are in production. We hope to have them in and installed around the end of May. The stainless steel parts for the tertiary clarifier are in production. We also hope to have those in the next couple of weeks and installed in May as well. On April 15th, we had a lightning strike at the wastewater treatment plant. This damaged EQ tank number 3 level sensors and PLC input on the computer system, as well as a component for the fire alarm system. For pump station activities, all the pump station alarms were tested. Pump station full load generator tests were completed. The MTAs were sampled on April 3rd and April 21st. On April 22nd, grease was pumped out of the North Sturbridge pump station because it was interfering with float operation. The 6 West MTA pump station was pumped out as well. On April 7th, for grinder pump calls, April 7th, we had 6 Ash Road, a high-level alarm, which was due to a stuck float from grease buildup. On April 25th, we had 59 North Sturbridge Road, high-level alarm. Upon arrival, everything looked normal. We tested the pumps. The amps were drawing a little bit over normal operation. So we're gonna plan on, if we get the alarm again from that residence, we're gonna go back out and change out the pump. But since then, we haven't had any issues. On the 28th, we had 106 Glen Echo Shore Road. There was a high-level alarm. Pump, again, a pump was a pump float was stuck due to grease buildup. Dig safes, we had 8 dig safes marked out in April. Additional remarks. Historically, the wastewater plant during high flows struggles to process the additional flow, and it results in high tank levels. Because of this, a portable gas pump has been used in the past, and hoses would be run around the facility from one side to the other in order to aid in the pumping. In April, we kind of discovered a more efficient way of pumping this additional flow, which doesn't require the use of a gas-powered pump that runs out of gas and loses prime. The way the plant normally operates to achieve maximum ammonia removal is to have the flow travel from EQ tank number 1 down by gravity down to 2 and 3. From 2 and 3 EQ tanks, it's pumped up to the RBCs. There are 2 pumps located in EQ tank number 1, but they do not get used because of the way the flow travels through the system for ammonia removal. We found that if we turn on 1 or 2 of these pumps during high flows, we achieve enough flow through the plant where we don't need to use the gas-powered pump. The only downfall to this is there's really minimal control over these 2 pumps located in EQ tank number 1. They are either completely on or completely off. There's no control over the speed that they pump at, and they can only be turned on locally at the wastewater treatment plant. With talking with Peter, we really think that the wastewater treatment plant would greatly benefit from having 1 or at least 1 of the pumps located in EQ tank 1 on a VFD and integrated into our SCADA computer system. This way, when we need the additional pumping abilities, we can turn on and off the pump as needed and can control the additional speed, the speed of the additional pumping. I attached a quote for 1 VFD from Northeast Electrical, $1,697.85 for the VFD. There'd be roughly $2,182 of additional expenses for the installation of the drive, which include the electrical work and the computer integration, which would bring the total to $3,879.85. And this would just help us out when the flows are high in the plant, and may prevent us from resulting in a SSO at the treatment plant.
Excuse me, Zach, while you're
Yep.
just finishing that, so it would prevent an SSO?
Yeah.
All right, and so did we have an SSO earlier in April because of the?
Not in April. I know our tank levels got crucially high.
Right.
But in the past, I believe there has been SSOs due to overflowed tanks.
Not in the recent past. It's been a
Okay.
little while.
Because right now, the pump in the EQ3 tank is the one that pumps everything up right now.
2 and 3. There's 2 pumps located in EQ tank number 2 and two pumps located in EQ tank number 3.
But
One,
tank number 2, doesn't it just by gravity go to 3?
no, so everything flows through EQ tank number 1,
Yeah.
and then it gravities and it splits to
Okay.
go half the flow to EQ tank number 2 and half of it to EQ tank number 3.
All right, and is there a pump in EQ tank 1?
Yes, that's the
Which we don't use?
correct, because of the fact that if we used that pump regularly, we'd be kind of bypassing some of the treatment by not allowing it to flow through 2 and 3,
Okay, and that's not a VFD pump in there, is it?
correct.
So, so for us to consider this, I'm gonna call it a $4,000 cost here to do that. We've yet to experience the issue of the overflow to where we needed to move it out quicker, or we needed to turn it on from off-site, such as on a weekend or in the middle of the night.
I believe there has been some SSOs where the tanks have overflowed, but I'm not sure historically when that occurred.
But I was before came here as well. They were having issues. That's why Keith set up the trash pump to go ahead and pump through a external 4-inch hose up to the diversion structure.
Okay, all right, so he did it'd be a manual job.
Correct, which in the summertime is one thing, in the wintertime is a completely other thing, so. And like Zach said, that you can set that pump up to run when they leave at 5 o'clock, but then when it runs out of gas, it's done and you lose that ability to pump.
Yeah,
So operationally, having this EQ Tank 1 be able to be run on a VFD and from off-site helps whoever is operating our treatment facility do it in a much safer way.
so is it tank 1 that we would be putting the new pump in?
Yes,
Or
tanks 2 and 3 already have VFDs.
And it's not
Okay, but
actually,
one's
it's already
grav-
connected to SCADA.
Number one tank, you don't even use the pump because it's gravity feeds the other tanks.
But you will what you'll do is you'll pump it and bypass tanks 2 and 3. So you can pump from EQ Tank 1 up to the diversion structure
Okay,
and
that's fine.
bypass EQ Tanks 2 and 3. So
And
that
that-
way there you'll have pumps from EQ Tank 2, pumps from EQ Tank 3, and also pumps from EQ Tank 1 pumping up into that diversion
And that's
structure.
gonna create space.
It's correct, it's gonna create space in those 3 tanks so that all the flow coming into the headworks won't get bottled up in those tanks and not be able to get sent up to the diversion structure and into the RBCs.
because what happens is the flow getting pumped out of EQ tanks number 2 and 3 is not as fast as the flow coming in from the collection system.
Yeah. Not unlike other systems, when you have these rain events, you really have no choice, and many operators have no choice. You gotta let it go. Because there's no way of holding it back, and you don't have the equipment to handle it.
In regards to
Flow.
letting it go,
Letting it go.
I mean, the difference with the treatment plant here is we have EQ tanks and we have pumps located in them. So a lot of treatment plants are designed so that the flow coming into the plant just flows gravity through the plant. Whereas if the flows are really high coming into the plant, they'll still pass through the plant, but you just won't have the detention time for full treatment. What we have is actual pumps, so if these pumps aren't fast enough to pump through the flow coming into the plant, those tanks will actually overflow onto the ground and out to the river.
And that's
With-
where we had the problem, I think it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a little while ago.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'd like to ask you to consider this upgrade mostly for operational and to make allow Veolia to operate the treatment plant in a safer, I guess, easier way.
and then in April, I would say, there was probably maybe four days we could have used that additional pumping abilities, but, we didn't really have it set up so that we could utilize it. And we could turn on the pump in hand remote, locally at the treatment plant, but we have no control over the flow rate, and sometimes that additional flow is too much. Sometimes you just need a little bit of additional help for the other pumps, just to maintain the flow, the levels of the tanks.
I don't mean to belabor this, but in
Yep.
April, when you did have the high flows, did you use that portable pump?
Yeah, there was times that we used the portable pump, and there was times that we tried to use the pumps located in EQ Tanks 1. But the problem is, we just have very limited control over the flow from those pumps.
Get you, okay. All right, so, do we have a consideration list as far as putting this on?
Sure, I mean, if you want us to, we can put some price, well,
I
there's a
think we
few
got
other.
the prices, you already got the prices, or you think you need
If you
more
want to,
competitive?
if, no, yes, I think the prices are competitive, because Veolia can purchase the parts at their
Yeah,
discount based
okay.
on their volume and their buying power, so. And the rest of it, what they've been doing on these smaller items is just a pass-through, so what it costs them, they just pass that through, they pass that cost on to us. So I don't believe we could get a better price.
Okay, again, it's up to the commission if you think we need to do this now or soon. I mean, we're going into the dry season, we've got 5, 6, 7 months to get this done if we want to get it done.
Is this pump only an issue when there's heavy rainfall? Is
Yeah.
the only time that you would use it?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably gonna be instances where we need to use it, say if there's an issue with other pumps, down in the other, EQ tanks, we may have to use that pump, or if we have to take down one of the tanks in order to service or repair or clean them, we'd probably need to use these pumps in the meantime.
I guess we're coming up on the end of the year, and our annual O&M, which starts out at 100,000, is still fairly high. We've had a good year, but we haven't had to do a lot of major upgrades and spend from that account. So I recommend that we consider approving this now, funding it from this year's O&M account, and getting this done. I think there will be cases when we have big rain events in July and August, when on a daily basis, that we might have that excessive flow. And if it does happen at night, this can be programmed so that if the tank levels in EQ tank 2 and 3 do not go down when those pumps are on full flow, this can go at EQ tank 1, the pump there can turn on automatically to solve that problem, and we won't have to worry about, and Zach won't have to worry about problems happening at the plant. So,
Would you like a motion?
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion then, to spend $3,879.85, which includes, the $1,697.95 for the VFD and the related hookup costs for it.
Have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Discussion, or any further discussion? Hearing none, well, let me, Zach, if we pass this, this would be put in process immediately as far as the purchase and,
Yeah, we'd schedule the work. Yep.
all right, okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, next.
We have the tertiary clarifier components being fabricated right now. We've been trying to coordinate the labor needed to remove the damaged equipment and install the new stainless steel components. I attached a quote from Interstate Water and Wastewater Specialist to do all the necessary work, including cutting welding of the damaged pin, as well as recoating anything that needs to be coated down there in the clarifier. They come highly recommended, and they have experience in the technology, and they've done work for the Charlton wastewater plant before. And that invoice, or that quote, is attached.
So this is work to be done to the clarifier?
Correct. This-
The COMAC clarifier that you approved purchasing the parts for, we just didn't have prices to install those at that time because we're trying to find contractors to come in and do that work, which hasn't been easy. Veolia has a line of their own contractors that do repairs to treatment plants, but they don't have time to come and do this work for us. So Zach he made calls and finally found this company to come in and install the torque tube and other parts that were ordered for the Comac clarifier that you guys approved previously.
So that's the $1,600 there?
No, the $4,400 from Interstate Water and Wastewater Specialists
Okay,
is the cost to remove the drive of the broken torque tube. They have to weld a new,
Guide pin.
guide pin, centering pin for that torque tube to ride into the clarifier basin. And then they'll install that, then they'll go ahead and recoat the entire clarifier and install the new torque tube and set everything up.
Peter, you've seen the work that needs to be done, does it look reasonable to you?
Yes, considering it's the only price we could get from calling.
All right, so this is,
Unfortunately, this is where we're at.
this is a project that's in process, and this is.
The
how we're
parts,
gonna
the
finish
parts
it.
are ordered,
All right,
and this
okay.
is what we need to do to install it. Again, our hope was to get Veolia's guys from, was it Naugatuck?
Yeah.
To come up and do some work as they have done in the past, but they don't have the time to come up and do this for us. So we're stuck. Zach's reached out to probably 3 or 4 of the contractors to do this work. We couldn't find anybody locally, and this is who we found to get us a price and to get the work done, so. Currently, we're just running one clarifier for the Comac system, and we definitely need to get this fixed as soon as possible, in case there's a
So tonight
problem.
it needs to be done. All right, I need a motion to go forward with this, if we want to go forward with it at all.
Make a motion that we approve $4,400, Interstate Water and Wastewater Specialist, with Viola.
Thank you, we got a second on that?
Second that.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Okay. Zach, I think you might want to go back one paragraph for the SCADA computer system.
Oh, yeah.
What did you, I don't know if you intentionally skipped over it or.
Yep, no, that was accidental. The wastewater treatment plant is controlled by a SCADA system. It's a computer system that talks with the plant. All the equipment talks back to the computer system tells it what it needs to do. Currently, we have no backup for this system at the treatment plant. It's kind of the brains of the whole treatment plant. So if something were to happen to that computer, which is 4 years old, and it's running older versions of software, if something were to happen, we'd be in a real tough spot at the treatment plant. There's only a minimal amount of the treatment plant that isn't controlled by this computer. So I've attached a quote for a new computer and all the necessary software and licensing needed, as well as the installation and startup. And this would give us redundancy at the treatment plant, and if something were to go wrong with this computer system, we'd have no loss of process.
I guess my question, Zach, is first of all, we already own, what, a laptop?
It's a
No,
desktop.
It's a desktop.
It's a desktop, and we already own the software for that one desktop.
Yes,
That's correct. So now this would be just redundant,
yep.
but which should be the backup.
Yep.
And where would this be kept?
This probably be set up in the office and set up and
Veolia's
run it.
office upstairs. So
Yeah.
this one, the one is currently set up in the lab,
Right?
near where all the equipment
Yeah.
is. The redundant one, either the new one could be placed in the lab, or the redundant one could be, the current one could be put upstairs, or just leave the one where it is and put the new one upstairs so that the operators would have control from their office upstairs.
I guess the hardware and software comes to $5,700.
correct.
How much of that is software?
I could find out for you. I know the software is not cheap, and the computer itself isn't, a normal, home computer. It's very.
Normal home computers, again, they're pretty powerful,
Yeah,
but
this one's designed for to running equipment off of. It's more of a industrial strength computer. And the software is licensed software, and I know that isn't cheap, but I could find out the breakdown if you would like.
And just bear with me, so to put this together, in other words, to put the software on the computer and then plug everything in is $2,500?
To install the software, set it up, and I guess to hook it up with the computer system, it has to communicate with PLCs from around the plant. It's kind of the user interface that communicates with other small computers called PLCs within the
Yep.
plant. So they all have to be able to communicate, and they all have to know, who's on the system, so that everything can mesh together.
Peter, have you observed any experience in this? Not that I'm saying you're gonna do it, but just saying, as far as having new equipment brought in and then integrating all those PLCs, is what you call them?
No.
Yeah, but the PLCs, I mean, they're pretty basic, aren't they? As far as reporting?
I think that the difficult part is you have to tie in, you have to communicate to the right port in the correct PLC to get the
Right,
correct
yeah,
data.
yeah.
So it's not like they're just gonna take this computer, put it on the desk and plug 3 Cat5 wires into it.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to wire that computer probably into 25 points on the PLC boards.
Yeah, probably around.
Because it's gonna control all of your VFDs for all your EQ pumps, it's gonna read all your level sensors, it's gonna read a bunch of different stuff.
I'm sure it's
and
done
all
by
that
Wi-Fi.
stuff. No,
No Wi-Fi whatsoever?
it still has to then it has to be programmed to communicate with the correct ports,
Well,
still
that's
on
what
the
the
correct
so-
PLCs.
Okay, I thought that's
But
what
you
the
still have to
software
tell the software what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then,
And I think it's time consuming to make sure you get it correct,
and then
so.
the software has to be running the program that's designed for the treatment plan as well. So that would all have to be integrated into this software, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big investment for redundancy.
It is, but again, Zach identified it as a weak spot, so we figured, I told
Well-
him to bring it up, so bring it to your
Yeah.
attention, and if you guys wanna do it, great, if you don't, again, you'll know that if the SCADA computer does go down, this will probably be a little bit more, cause you'll be doing it on an emergency basis, and you'll have to get people out there so the plant can continue to operate, so.
So the plant won't operate if you don't have a computer?
There's ways to make it
you
operate
can do it
by
manually.
hand, controlling everything manually with
Right.
dials and everything, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Not what you wish for, but the
No.
thing is, it's possible.
it is.
Yeah.
But it would probably require
Not
Const-
absentee.
constant attention, probably somebody at the facility operating it
Yeah.
in the meantime, 24/7.
Because right now, that plant is not staffed from 4 PM till 7
Right, yeah,
AM.
exactly.
Or,
Yeah,
or,
it's
So-
run like that for the last, 20 years? Yeah, and how long have we had SCADA down there? 8, 10 years maybe?
I don't
You
know,
would-
it's
you know
probably,
better than we would.
it's, the SCADA system was installed prior to the COMAG upgrade, so that's over, when was that, 8 years ago?
2010.
Yeah, so it is older than that,
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
Okay.
yeah.
all right, again, it's up to the commission whether you want to
Again, we just,
spend the dough. And Peter, as far as available funds,
there's in the annual O&M, in the,
yeah, we always,
either in the annual, or when we also have the capital improvement money that you have funds in as well, so.
When does that run out?
June 30th,
So we have one more meeting.
to approve funds from there, yes. If the work isn't done by then, we can get Donna some information and encumber those funds to use them after June 30th. And they'll be set aside for that, so. If you want, we can get you a balance on those 2 accounts for our next meeting and discuss this at that time.
Yeah. And I'm
If that'll
sure,
help make your decision.
yeah, and when July 1 comes, we'll be working on the new budget. We've got monies budgeted for items like this.
Or you'll have a fresh O and M
Yeah,
account and a
yeah,
fresh
yeah.
capital improvement account, yes.
Right.
But again, we've had a good year, but we haven't had to really spend a lot of money on the capital or the O and M stuff, so. Not that I'm saying spend it all, I'm just, again, Zach brought this up, and it's not a huge hole in our operations, but it's a small hole where if it does go wrong, it could create some big problems, so.
Yeah, and
The price tag to fix it, yeah, it's a little higher than you like to see, and it doesn't, it's tough to kinda, not comprehend the expense of that for one computer and some software, but unfortunately, I mean, that's just what the price is, so.
Do you know how long it takes them to do this project? If you were to call them tomorrow and say, hey, listen, we had a breakdown and we need this done right away?
I know this computer is not something that you can run to Walmart and pick up off the shelf,
Yeah.
so, I
I'll
don't
tell you
know,
what,
I don't know
I'm
how
so-
long that would take.
I'm sorry for interrupting, Zach, continue, I apologize.
No worries. Yeah, I mean, I imagine there could be some rush fees associated with it, but I'm not sure how long it would take, maybe a week.
Okay.
If you could, Zach, between now and before the next meeting, get it to Peter,
Yep.
is find out from SCADA the exact hardware requirements to operate their software.
Sure. And I could get you a breakdown of
That'd be great.
where those expenses come from. Like I said, the computer is 4 years old. With normal home computers, they say that's kind of nearing the end of its life expectancy. This being a little bit more of a robust computer, maybe it has, 1, 2, 3 more years in it, but maybe it doesn't, and,
Or maybe it does.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I look at that
It may.
hunk
it's
of
just-
junk I start every day, and it's going on. The new one I bought to replace it 4 years ago is still sitting in its box. Oh, I gotta get this, because I know it's gonna break. Guess what? No.
Understood.
So, let's make sure this is on the agenda for next
Yes.
meeting, Peter.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Unless, again, the commission wants to do something else.
I don't.
You want a little more information?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Zach.
Yep, and then I just wanted to add that I spoke with the manufacturer for I know the last meeting, it was kind of left that I would pursue more information about torque overload protection for the new components for our tertiary clarifier. After speaking with them, it was determined that our only option for torque overload protection on the new equipment would be to replace the motor and gear drive with a system that has overload protection, has a sensor that would go into alarm when the torque gets too high, and if it exceeds that, it actually shut the system off. The cost is a little over $3,600. Obviously that's not ideal because the drive and motor that's on there are already new. But I just wanted to relay that information
Right, I
over to
think-
you.
Make a note, if we have to replace it again, maybe we replace it with the one that
Yep,
has the overload safety.
yep, I just wanted to relay that information.
Perfect.
And that's everything for April 2019.
Okay. Members, did anyone have any questions for Zach relative to things in his report? You all set?
Good.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Zach.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Zach.
Okay. The scheduled appointment, Glanico Shore Drive, grinder pump control panel replacement.
Yes. He's here.
Okay?
Bobby from Sturdy Home Developments here.
Oh, I didn't know, okay. Step right up.
Sure.
Microphone, just state your name and the company you represent.
All right. How you guys doing? I'm Bobby from Sturdy Home Improvement. And as you said, we're doing a project at 128 Glen Echo Shore Road. And I've been going back and forth with Peter for a little while. The situation is the grinder pump my guys demolished the grinder pump. We were doing a partial demo is what the permit was listed as. So it's a building permit. We're doing, the homeowner there wanted to have a whole new home pretty much, but it was listed as a partial demo slash reno. And, you know, come time finishing the whole project up, the grinder pump needs to be installed so our plumber can do his finish. And it's working. We had Zach come out a couple times. It's operational, we think, but it's not pretty. Our guys were negligent in destroying it. My field manager should have monitored that pump, tucked it away on a shelf, taken care of it properly. So they are correct in saying the pump is destroyed. We should have done a better job taking care of it. But when I was talking with Peter about it, he was saying, hey, the permit comes to my desk. If it's listed as a renovation, the grinder pump shouldn't be touched. And if it's a demo, you have to call us, or you call us, we come, we take the pump off, we store it, we come out, we put the pump back on. And I'm the office guy, you know, I work in the office, I take care of all that. The guys in the field, they'll lose everything and they'll destroy everything, and, you know, I'm constantly replacing tools, fixing all sorts of things like that. So they did what they did. If I had known that this grinder pump needed to be a call into the town, you guys come out, take care of it, and then put it back on when the time came. If I could have controlled that situation, then I think we wouldn't be out $1,100. So to rewind a little bit, I'm asking the town to take care of the bill for this control panel for the grinder pump at 128 Glen Echo Shore Road, because I had no knowledge that I needed to put a call into the town for this particular issue.
If I may, just so I get a full picture, you have a property, you have the igloo with the pump in it,
Yes.
and then next to the igloo is a 4x4 post with the control panel on it?
I believe the control panel was probably mounted to the home.
The control panel?
This one actually, so once again, I'm not in the field, but my guy, my cement guy, I think it was like sort of on the post, like he said, and it was in a landscaping area.
Okay.
So I don't have a previous picture of it, I have none of that, but,
I mean, so that ended up getting damaged?
so the casing is damaged. Zach came out, looked at it, to the best of his ability, he thought that the internals looked fine.
Right.
On the second visit, we did see that there was some chip that looked as if it had a little, it was dislodged a little bit, but the casing definitely was damaged, and I'm absolutely admitting that that could have been protected a lot better, 100%. But the fact is, I had no knowledge that a town
Yep.
needed to be, a town department needed to be notified. I could have done that prior to the project even starting, and Peter said, it came across my desk as a renovation, not a demo, so that's why we didn't feel like putting special notation to the building department that this was an issue.
Peter and Zach, the system right now is operative, correct?
No, that's the control panel. It won't operate without that.
Well, no, if you put that control panel back, if you repipe the electrical part of it to where nothing's broken, will that equipment run?
Possibly.
Again, if it runs, then I don't see where the problem is.
What are we gonna do if it's something malfunctions in a year from now and the homeowner has to pay to replace it?
First of all, is this a system that's within our system?
Yes.
Okay, so what do we do when something malfunctions?
We replace it
We replace
at
it
our cost,
at our cost.
but not when it's been damaged by somebody else.
Again, all I'm saying is I'm somewhat taking a position here. Either works or it doesn't work. If it works, and the thing is, if this thing fell over and got cracked, I'm not saying cracked, I'm just looking at the broken conduit pipe. If that gets repaired and they put it on a new pedestal and it operates the pump, again, I see, this, no foul, no harm.
Well, I guess unless, you know, there's attached to some correspondence from the property owner that said that that was taken off, left outside unprotected in the snow and the rain. And there's electrical components in it.
Yeah,
So again, I'm trying to protect us and the property
No, no,
owner so
I hear
that
what
the
you're saying.
contractor doesn't finish the job. Sure, it works for the next 6 months.
right.
And then we have to go and replace it, and then you're asking me why we're replacing something that we didn't damage.
Is this a new system or an old
It's
system?
been upgraded,
This
yes,
is an upgrade.
yes. So,
And also, Zach, if you could, in your in future reports, if you're replacing systems, could you please make a note whether it's an upgraded system you're replacing or a original system? Just, because most of the time, we don't have to replace the upgraded systems.
not as often as, no, correct.
Unless they get hit by
These are
lightning.
working much better.
Right, right.
So again, there's some electrical components in there. Sure, it might work for a month, a year, 2 years, 3 years, or it might not work at all.
Right. I don't know.
I just didn't, I didn't want to make that call. It's, again, you guys have to approve
So,
spending the money.
if I could add another thing, so when Peter and I talked, and I'm not trying to give anyone a hard time. Like I said,
No,
my
no.
guys destroyed it. Like, they could have gently taken it off, you
Yeah.
know. It's not their pump, it's not their house. They're running a bulldozer, swinging a hammer. They didn't care. They figured a demo, they're demoing the house. This thing's part of the demo. So, I know it's destroyed and we could have avoided that. But,
Yeah.
when I was talking to Peter about it, he said, if it comes across my desk as a renovation, then I do something, or a demolition.
They take precautions.
Right, so if it was a demo, I would have been notified, me in the office, I would have been notified that the town should be involved in this. But if it's, a renovation, then he says that pump should never be touched. And that's understandable, but this permit, so you may have been mistaken, this permit says demo
I
on
have a
it.
copy of it.
Okay, so
But
it
the
does
fact of
have the
that-
word demo on it.
This is sitting out by the grinder pump.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with the renovation or the demolition
No,
of the
no,
building.
that's right, exactly.
So
No,
regardless,
It
I
should
don't
have been
think,
cared for.
it's not our responsibility to tell the
Have
contractor
you,
how to
have
do
you
his
talked to
job.
your liability insurance people?
Well, I mean, just, no, I have not. But to back up, so you would have put on the building permit, if it said demo, you told me, if it said demo, you do put in there somewhere notation about needing to call the sewer
I think you
department.
spoke with Steve, and Steve might have told you that when you were in the office one day.
It was you. You said, hey, this came across my desk as a renovation, not a demolition, and it's actually a demo. It says demo on there.
Selective demolition.
Right, and you had thought it said renovation, so that's kind of why I'm here, because I could have had some control over it
I don't-
if he notated on there, call Town of Charlton. The guys, they could have, not even had to worry about
Yeah,
it.
I'm
I
not-
would have made the call.
I'm not gonna buy that. I'm not gonna give in to that. It's not our responsibility to
No,
tell
the
the
lack of
contractor
the care.
how to do
Again,
his
the
job.
contractors-
But if it's a demo, what do you do if it's a demo? You
This
told
was
me
nowhere
you,
near the house, so why would
no, but
be
you
near it
told
for
me
the
if it's a
demo?
demolition, you put in the building permit that the call needs to be made to the sewer department, right?
Steve told you that, not me.
It was you directly, Peter.
All right, well,
Anyways.
either way, because it has nothing, it's set off from the building, the workers should have used care and caution, no matter what, whether someone called it, didn't call. So, work it out with the homeowner. If it works, then fine, the homeowner's gonna have to be responsible for it, I guess, 2 or 3 years down the road. Or talk to your insurance company, because it should be replaced if it's been exposed to all of the weather. At least that's my thought. Sorry for jumping in here, but,
I agree. I mean, whenever I've been in business before, we've taken responsibility of something like that. We don't blame the homeowner or the town or something like that, so.
And I wouldn't let it fall on the homeowner. That's why I'm here, you know?
yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't
And we
do that.
appreciate your time, and the thing is, yeah, I'm thinking of a neighbor that I have, to where they tore the house down, and everything was separate, but, you know,
Yeah,
they had to use care and caution.
I got my owner, you know, he's gonna have to pay the bill, and then I got the guys in the field. I'm just trying to alleviate problems for
Yeah, yeah.
everyone. And the homeowner is not gonna have to deal with this bill. We're going to. That's why I'm here. I'm sure the bill gets sent to the homeowner, And I could have just let things lie, see what happened, but I'm gonna take care of it one way or another,
Okay.
so.
All right. Dave, any more
Yeah,
thoughts?
I feel like the contractor should take care of it.
Again, when you're on the property,
I mean, that's
you
a-
do damage,
yeah,
people
I-
do damage.
Happens all the time.
Right,
It's part of business, right?
yeah.
Be happy it's 1,100 and not 11,000.
Oh, who is Steve again, that you said? You said Steve told me that if it had said demo, I would have been notified?
Didn't you come in the office and talk to Steve? Was it Bobby or was it somebody else who came in and talked to Steve?
The person that came in was, Mrs. Burley.
Oh. So-
Okay.
She didn't talk to Steve, she talked to Zach.
It's not attached to the house, right? I mean,
This
it's
is not
off.
attached.
Well, it might have been, I don't
Some of
know.
them are, some of them
I
aren't.
have no pictures, I don't know,
Yeah, I
but,
know, like the one on Cliff's old house, it's a pedestal.
It's
That's
some of-
way away from
Right,
the
Zach,
house.
some are attached to the house, some aren't.
this may have been, but it was a demolition, and I had no knowledge that I should have made a call. That's all. And so maybe internally, think it over, that it should be tied in with the building department, that on there somewhere, someone needs to call, and then that pump is taken care of. I think you said you remove it and you store it, is that correct?
Again, I did not, because I haven't been involved in any of those where that has happened. Steve told me he had a conversation.
No,
with
no, the
somebody
normal
that said-
process of if someone is demoing a home, you told me you guys remove it,
No,
and
that was Steve that had that conversation, it was not me.
I don't know who Steve is. I've only ever talked to you and Zach.
I did not relay that information.
So who's Steve?
The other gentleman in the office. He told
In
me
your
he had
office?
that- Yes. He told me he had that conversation with somebody.
So is his, you're like dismissing him as if he's completely wrong about everything. Is that the case?
No,
No.
he's not saying that at all.
No, I'm not saying, I'm
Yeah,
just
well-
saying, I didn't say that.
You didn't, you were on site saying this. This wasn't a phone conversation.
I was on site, and I
You-
did not say that, I did not.
You said it came across my desk as a reno, Bobby, not
I
a
said it ca-
demo.
Yeah, it came across as a renovation.
And it's-
again, it's a partial demo, renovation, addition.
Uh,
And when those come across.
Yeah.
it
I'm not
comes
trying to give you a
across-
hard
it-
time, but it's, you're definitely contradicting.
Well,
So-
either way, Bobby, it doesn't make
Yeah,
a
it's
big
fine.
difference.
It's fine.
So,
I apologize, but
No, no.
I'll go with your first statement. We'll see if it runs and we'll go from there.
go from there.
Yeah?
So if it runs,
Well, we have to make a note within our, with, for that address, that this equipment is suspect, and if it fails with, that, it's possibly because of the exposure that it experienced.
okay.
That's all I can say. We have an agreement with that? Yeah, Jen?
And I may buy a new one just anyway, just
Yeah.
to alleviate any of the issue for the homeowner. I want to go above and beyond for them. I don't want to leave them with a possible
Sure.
issue. So I may do that. I'm just trying to establish maybe some more protocol about, so I in the office can know to avoid this. That's all. So, no worries.
Just educate me, whereabouts is, what is it, 120?
Teresa LaPrad's old house.
Oh, okay, yeah. Good
Tell
enough. And
full-time
when the site is tight,
residents.
the site's tight there. It's a tight site,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like most
the
of
the
them.
guy when he was demoing, I don't even know if he backed over it. I don't even know if it was on the house or not. I could
Yeah.
probably do some more research on that, but we gotta wrap it up anyway, so I'm trying to
Yeah,
alleviate
and that's what
myself.
we have, we gotta wrap it up, we
Where
gotta.
you putting the new one? Where are you gonna put this now?
I guess we have to still have to work with you guys, it has to be,
Because you ran new conduit to the grinder pump, correct?
right,
Where
so wherever the other end of
That's
it
going
is.
to the house?
Yeah.
So this will be mounted on the house now?
I think it looks like it's by that patio door, yeah. So I guess I'll catch up with you, I don't know if you wanna come back out, make sure all that is sound, at least the way it all is going in. Yeah?
Good
Okay.
enough, okay. We got a hockey game in 55 minutes,
All
sorry.
right, guys. So
We'll have to
I'll see
schedule
what
hockey
the
games
boss
all the
wants to
time.
do.
That's right, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Nice meeting you, Bobby.
You too, pleasure.
Have a good evening. Under new business, we've got Chapter 61A release.
Yep.
Lot 8 on Boucher Road.
Correct. So as part of the selectmen's policy, it gets sent out to all departments and asks
Yeah.
pros and cons on whether or not they should exercise their right of first refusal.
Yep. Is there any interest on Lot 8?
It's a 3.4 acre parcel on the westerly side of Boucher
Yeah.
Road that is being sold for $90,000. And I don't see it having any being essential to us in the operations of our department.
Okay. Then, hearing no comments or no discussion, then I'd say there's zero interest. Number two,
Or
chapter
could the
6.
board make a motion to recommend to the Board of Selectmen not to exercise the right of first refusal? That way I can just send that to the board so they know that you looked at it, just to keep it clean.
I make a motion that we don't exercise our right,
You have to recommend, we don't have, the
Oh.
Board of Selectmen
that the Board of Selectmen
not exercise the right.
not exercise the right of first refusal on Lot 8.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Paul, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Number two, 61A release, King Road.
Correct, so same format, lot on King Road, 79-C-4, is approximately 20.6 acres on the easterly side of King Road, that is being sold for $80,000,
20.6,
20.6
thank you.
acres. Being sold for $80,000, some wetlands on it, again, I think we have a copy of the assessor's map on there. It's a reduced frontage, 20-acre parcel, I don't see a need for it being essential in our department.
No value there as far as the water site goes.
We haven't really done much exploration in that area.
Right,
It's,
okay.
in King Road in that area, no.
Yeah,
So,
we'd have a good elevation there, though, wouldn't we?
you have to pump up to the top of Dresser Hill Road
Okay,
before we
okay,
get the
okay.
elevation.
All right, could I have another motion, Jim?
I recommend the Board of Selectmen not exercise the town's right of first refusal for this property.
Okay, second? Okay, any more discussion or any discussion whatsoever on this? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay, partial release of sewer betterment and privilege fees for the overlook property. Peter, you wanna give us the background on this?
Sure, so this is kind of a moving target at this time. All of the property that the Overlook owns, approximately 400 acres, is all on one deed. And that one deed has betterments and privilege attached for sewer that you guys have done. One as part of the Phase 2 project, and then one as part of the upgrade, you did the privilege fee to them. They're looking to sell the portion of the property near the police station, on the other side of Masonic Home Road. And that's, again, on the same deed, so it has the lien from the water sewer betterments and privilege fees associated with it. And they're also looking to sell 3 acres up that has frontage on T Hall Road, sell or give, or they're gonna transfer to a private individual to go ahead and open up a business in that area. So they need to get that released from the deed as well. Debbie Chickerini called me asking what we could do, or possibly if there had to be any motions made here to do a partial release. She did some research, and there's no possible way to do a partial release. She's in contact now, she's in discussion now with our attorney and Overlook's attorney about subordinating do a certificate of subordination, which would be an agreement for the town of Charlton to sign. At this time, I don't have that yet, so I put this on the agenda just to give you some background. But that's pretty much what's going on, and like I said, it's a moving target, so when I get something from Debbie that gives us direction on what they really need us to do, it'll probably be on your next agenda. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know, and I'll make sure that I get those to Deb, so she knows about them. That's where that is.
Yeah. And the the parcel of land that's gonna be released on T Hall Road, there is no sewer on T Hall Road, nor anywhere near T Hall Road.
Actually, both parcels they're looking to break off and get rid of do not have access to sewer.
Do not have access to sewer.
Even the parcel on Masonic Home Road does not have access to sewer.
Okay. The parcel on the Sonic Home, which parcel are we talking about?
The punny, maybe it does on the lower side, doesn't
Very
it?
close on both directions.
It's not, but the police station, it's run on the side of the road to the police station, down south, down, I guess
So
that'd be
there's nothing in front.
northerly, it may be close and just barely abut that, but I think that's down near the house. I think that's further south.
The
I'd
sew-
have to really look at it. It will be close. I don't have a map, but I'll make sure I look at that and get Deb that
So
information.
how many releases are we talking about here, Peter?
2.
which is one by T Hall Road.
Yes, and the second one is the large parcel the town's looking to buy for the public
Okay,
safety complex.
Okay, I didn't,
So that goes all the way down to Stockdale's old house. I just,
and the sewer line that comes out of the lower driveway of Masonic Home runs down Masonic Home.
it doesn't come out the lower driveway, it comes out their lower portion of property, doesn't it? Or does it come out,
I'm trying to think
No,
if
the
there's
lower
one on the
driveway.
driveway or not. There's one that comes further down, which is definitely not, because the new proposed land does not go down or northerly as far as the driveway. The driveway comes out
Right.
after the proposed land that the town wants to use. Whether there's a sewer thing on that driveway or not, I don't know.
I'll double check
I
that.
believe the
Because-
manhole's at the bottom of that driveway, and
I
that's the
think there-
manhole we
I
were
think
having
there might be
problems
two.
with.
The other ones come, because there's more than one
Yeah.
pipe coming out of Masonic Home, I mean, not only the other
Correct.
side, but on the lower side or the
Right.
northerly side.
I'll double check that to make sure.
Because Masonic Home flow is divided. One portion goes to the pump system that's up the center across from the auxiliary fire station. And the other portion is at that lower driveway that goes down the hill. One's gravity and the other one's pump.
Mhm.
So,
But even if there is a manhole at the end of that driveway, it still is
Right.
off the property that the town wants to buy. Either way, we're just, we're not releasing any of their burden for the
Correct.
betterments. It's just that there'll be less land that we've got to lean on
Correct.
by a very small amount.
Yeah.
You said 2 acres on Charlton and how much on Tinker Hall Road?
3 acres on T Hall Road.
So
and-
5 acres and all?
No, Masonic Home Road, they're buying that full 26 acre parcel.
Oh, okay.
That's why
didn't
I
know
need
the
to double
26
check
there.
that.
okay, double check it.
I'll double check that. And I'll make sure I have that when they finally come up with something. to
Okay,
support.
number 4, lunch break waiver.
Yes. So as part of the new clerical union contract, members of the union are required to complete and sign a meal break waiver form daily. I'm
Excuse
attaching,
me, daily?
yes,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
daily,
because it's serious,
to make sure, yes.
yeah.
So I'm attaching a copy of the form for your information. The waiver allows the employee to waive their right under Mass General Law that entitles them to an unpaid 30-minute meal break after 6 hours of work. Past practice in the office has been that the administrative assistant has worked through this break and has eaten any meals at her desk so that the office may remain open. I believe Sue does not have a problem with this and prefers to continue doing it this way. The form allows the employee to consent and waive their right to the 30-minute break under certain circumstances on a daily basis. The circumstances that we plan to reference is the need for the administrative assistant to remain at their desk so that the office will remain open and staff will be available to the public. So I'm just bringing this to your attention for, I guess, consideration and to let you know what's taking place. At this time, in discussion with HR, it does need to be on a daily basis. We're gonna try and put 5 days on one form so that we can just reference the same reason. So,
So in our office, this only affects Sue
at this
and
time,
the town hall.
and,
too,
correct,
but-
They do their own thing. They'll have to do their own paperwork.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is just for us.
is it?
Yeah, which is same requirement.
Do you have a problem, Sue?
So, we need a vote on that, official vote, or?
I don't think so, I was just more to bring it to your attention in
Okay.
case you see this form come across and that we're
Okay.
referencing her
Does,
need.
does it need, does it need a individual signature on it?
It says, yes, employee and supervisor, so I can
Okay,
sign as
yeah,
a supervisor,
Go ahead.
and we should be good to go.
Yep. Any problems with that?
No.
Thanks. Jen, you all set? Yep,
Excellent.
okay.
The next item, the planning board is creating a local review committee to discuss and provide recommendations regarding the proposed LNG terminal on Route 169. I'm attaching a copy of the planning board's letter for your review. If the board is interested in serving on the committee, I'd recommend the board vote to designate one person as their representative on that committee to represent the board at the meetings.
I would like to do that, but suggest that we have an alternate. so that if something comes up and, I can't make it, that the alternate, would be called upon.
I'll be an alternate.
The alternate, okay. Again, I'm just suggesting that.
No problem.
Commissioners, any issues with that? No? Okay.
So would someone make a motion appointing Mr. Lemansky as the representative and Mr. Cantwell as the alternate?
What'd you say, Dave? So moved?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
And again, this doesn't prohibit anyone else from going to these meetings. If other board members are interested, you can definitely go and listen and participate. It just means if there's gonna be more than 2 of you there, we need to post. So if there's a quorum, you're covered under the open meeting law.
Had anybody gone to the,
I had
public meeting?
I had a
they had?
prior commitment, I could
Okay.
not make it
I know
last
I
week.
didn't. Go.
I plan on attending these anyway, so I will be there, but again, I can go because I'm not a voting member, but if anyone other than Mr. Lemansky or Mr. Cantwell does want to go, if they could just let the office know so we can post if we know there'll be more than 2 of you, that'd be great.
Okay.
Is that unanimous?
We didn't call for a vote yet.
Okay,
Is there a vote?
so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Thank you. Okay. We gotta approve a quote for survey work on Phillips's property.
Sure. So again, the town meeting approved us to purchase property from Mr. and Mrs. Phillips. The entire parcel is approximately 35 acres. In our discussion, we've always proposed purchasing approximately 20 acres of that. So in order to do so, we're gonna have to survey the parcel, submit it to planning board, and subdivide it into 2 parcels, one for the Phillips to keep and the one of the approximate 20 acres for us to purchase. So I solicited quotes. The quotes I received are from DC Engineering and Survey for $10,200 to do the work. And the second quote from McClure Engineering is for $13,000 to do the work. This work is part of our grant that we submitted for, so we should be getting a 50% reimbursement from the state for it. I asked Para Land Surveying for a quote, and they were not interested as he is selling his business. So,
Any discussion on that?
Seems like a lot of money to have a piece of land cut up, huh?
Well, you know, I have a personal, it's not personal, but my issue with this is if you have land, I know if I have land, and if I sell the land, I've gotta produce the legal description. What they have said to us is we need to pay for the legal description. And the only way we can get a legal description is we've gotta survey it to the tune of $10,200. I think that's a lot of money for landlocked land. Again, I think the owner should be doing this, and not us.
We're paying for half of it.
well, we'll pay the entire amount and then get reimbursed 50% from the state.
Somebody's paying for it.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but this,
It just seems like a lot of money to have a piece of land surveyed.
What's it, 35 acre parcel? If
and why aren't we just surveying out the piece that we want?
Don't you have to survey the entire parcel in order to separate
I
what you
don't know,
want to purchase?
maybe not, I don't know. Because we only care about what we're purchasing as far as the term they use is it's gotta, survey's gotta close. That means when you add up all the numbers, it's gotta come to 360. I mean,
I've bought land without a survey like that, you know, if you wanna really do something and know where your boundaries are, then of course you've gotta get it surveyed. But if you just wanna cut a piece out, I've done that, and not without having to have it surveyed.
and how did you cut it out?
Well, I guess you.
It has to be done by verbally, by
They
meets,
don't go.
not verbally, but by meets and
By
bounds.
a land surveyor, but they don't necessarily have to go out and physically, you know, survey the
pins?
property, yeah, set pins and stuff. They do it on paper, they bring your paper and here's your map, and then here's this, and with the preliminary and stuff, you can close it without going out there physically, you know.
I don't think we
I
can
think
do
in
it
order to do
without doing
a
it.
purchase, we need a legal description.
No, you need a legal description by all means. Are we gonna do a title search?
Yes,
So now we're doing the title search,
yes.
and, again, I think that burden belongs on the seller. Just like when it comes time to pay for the stamps at the courthouse. The seller pays, but when you're in Charlton, the seller pays for the stamps.
But the owner will not get the 50% reimbursement that we can get, so.
But that's our business, that has nothing to do with the
I
owner.
understand that, but
Hey, I'm just being me,
I
that's
was
all.
always under the impression that we were purchasing it, we would pay to subdivide it, as we solicited them to purchase the property. They weren't trying, they weren't
And I don't
actively,
disagree
they
with
weren't
you. Yeah,
actively
Yes,
trying
I
to
think
sell the
that's
property.
difference, Sure.
do
Yeah,
they
so-
go down?
so-
Yeah.
So again, I solicited them, it was always a discussion, we're gonna need to subdivide it, it'll be our expense in the
All right,
future.
okay, so we'll charge you.
Do they-
Yeah, so let me just ask you a question. So is their home sit on a 35-acre parcel?
No,
No.
this is a landlocked parcel.
It's a
That's-
landlocked
their-
parcel.
Their,
Why-
their
But
home,
their home abuts
it.
this.
but it's a separate parcel,
It's a separate parcel.
which is why they wanna keep the 10 acre. And again, it was always, maybe we won't have to subdivide it if we choose to purchase the entire 35 acres. It was always, we didn't know what we were gonna need, so the initial agreement 16 months ago was approximately 20 acres, that's so much an acre, and if we need more, we'll get more, if we need less, we need less. Unfortunately, where the wells are
Okay.
going, we need to buy almost a full 20, so it is what it is, and again, because I sought them out, they weren't actively selling the property.
I make a motion to approve the money for the 10,200, oh, 300, 200, wasn't it? To have the surveying work done.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Okay, and now, we all understand that by the purchase of this land, if we don't purchase the land, then the whole project there hinges on this.
There isn't, correct. If you don't purchase this land, there is no project.
There is no project. Okay, all right. All right. So,
We got a motion, we got a second.
we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I'll go nay just because I'm gonna be mean, but again, I'm knowing that it's gonna pass. So it should pass, but the thing is,
It's a lot of
And again,
money.
the
won't happen again.
town meeting approved approximately 20,000 for surveying, because that was part of the warrant article. It was 100,000 for the property and 20,000 for surveying, so there's funding available for this from town meeting.
Do we have to survey the other piece of land also? No.
Just, no, because we're buying the entire parcel.
Okay.
I wasn't intending on surveying that. So I heard back, Jim Cosgrove does not do title searches. He sent me to Anne Marie Hurley. She sent me quotes finally today of $350 to do the title search on the Phillips property and $500 to do this title search on the Burns property, because she said that one's gonna be a little more difficult, because it was the original deed was from 1938 as part of some bigger farming area that was already broken apart. So she said that one may take some more time, so she priced that one at $500.
Because it hasn't been transferred, or when it was taken out, it was taken out in 1938.
I'd have to read her email, but
Yeah.
she just said, again, she said the Phillips property seems clean.
Yeah, okay.
It'll be $350, and the Burns,
Yep.
for whatever reason she mentioned, it'll be a little bit more and take some more legwork.
Yeah, I think the 350 is fair. Yeah, and, you know, usually they only go back 50 years. Usually, yeah, but, yeah, okay.
And she's gonna expedite the Burns property so that we can try and have that title search done, so we can, the hopes for the Burns property is we will have the PNS ready for you for your next meeting on the 17th, and we will close before June 25th on that property.
Okay.
The Phillips property, because the grant is effective for FY '20, we can't spend these funds for the survey or spend any funds or do any work until after July 1st anyways, so that we get
Right,
reimbursed for
yeah,
them.
but we
So-
can order it and have them do the work, and they can submit a
Invoices.
bill on July 1st.
Sure, but,
Yeah,
so,
I
we still have
got
to go
you.
through planning board.
Okay, so we need a motion for the, for the title search cost of 500 and 350?
No,
We don't?
well, if you wanna make one, that'd be great, I guess. I thought that kinda falls in the parameters you said at your last meeting.
Which was?
800 was too much, get it for less.
We don't want yeah,
So I got it.
okay,
If you'd like to make a motion to authorize Anne Marie Hurley to do those, that'd be great.
okay. Commissioners, do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Okay, got a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, tree quote.
So last item is, the Water Master Plan grant is an annual grant. It was set to expire last January 30th, and they extended it for another year for us, so we're bumping up on January 30th again, and I'm not sure we'll be as lucky as to get them to extend it. There's approximately $35,000 remaining in the grant. And what I'd like to do is spend some of those funds to get us an access road through the Burns property to our current cart path up to the well site, so we no longer have to go through Army Corps property to gain access. So I tried to solicit some quotes to get this work done. I asked them to price it per day for the tree removal so that we can kind of maximize the money we're getting. So if we have room for them to do a little bit more work and clean it up a little more and make it a better path based on how many days it's taken them, they can do so. Again, I'm not looking for a final road here, I'm just looking for a path to fit a pickup truck that will gain us access at this time, so. I solicited prices from Advantage Enterprises, Kozowski Brothers Contracting, B&R Tree Service, Moss Tree Service, and Robinson Tree Service. Advantage Enterprises was the lowest at $1,800 per day for tree removal. I also asked them to price gravel by the ton, they were $18, and stump removal by the yard, if the stumps need to be removed, then they were $15 per yard. That way, if they need,
How about stump removal, not from the property, but just from the ground?
if they were gonna leave them on site, there'd probably be no charge.
So if they have an excavator, they can stump it and we just put them off to the side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Advantage Enterprises did price us, I asked for optional equipment, they priced us an excavator optionally for $1,500 per day with an operator to do some of that other work. So, Kozowski Brothers Contracting priced us at $7,500 for straight tree removal. I don't believe that was per day, I think it was just to get the path cut, and that was also included them pulling the stumps as well, digging out the stumps. They were $20 a ton for gravel and $20 per yard if the stumps needed to be removed. B&R Tree Services was not interested, Moss Tree Service was too busy, and Robinson Tree Service did not respond.
Okay. All right, so, can I have a motion?
Question. If we, do this, will Army Corps still allow us to use their land, or you don't know?
I believe they would, but our agreement with Army Corps is about, I'm gonna ask them to extend it anyways, but it's set to expire fairly soon.
Okay.
They've been very cooperative, I don't think they'd have a problem with us still using their land, but I think this is a much more direct route, probably saves us almost half a mile to get in there,
Okay.
and,
Jen, that was a good point. Shouldn't we be working towards a permanent easement with them, Peter, for access? Or once we have the other piece, we're gonna be able to have access that way?
correct. Both parcels together gain us permanent access.
And the permanent access comes from the Burnses, the Burns
Correct.
property?
Correct.
Okay.
The Burns property directly abuts the Phillips property.
Okay, so.
We don't need Army
the-
Corps
The
anymore.
Army Corps is, we just need it right now.
Correct.
Would be better off spending this money here working the Burns access way, coming in the back door, rather, or front door, whatever you wanna call it, versus, the Army Corps?
That's what this is.
This is Army Corps or Burns?
No, this is Burns property.
Perfect, okay.
Yep.
Okay, and who gets the logs? The wood, and any?
It wasn't
discussed.
discussed. I'm not sure, I think we're gonna try and not take the most direct path, but meander, so there's probably not much big
Okay,
stuff cut at this time.
Just make it easy, okay.
Yep, we're not looking to, again, I think if we fully develop the site, then we'll go ahead and find the most direct route, do what we have to with conservation and get all that done at that time, but for now, this is just get a path there so we can gain access fairly easy on our own property without having access over Army Corps property.
Okay. I can have a motion? Just to, because this involves Advantage Tree Service, if I may speak, Paul, is Mr. Gagnon gonna refrain from participating in this vote? That's okay? Okay. So I need a motion from either Jen or Dave as far as hiring. In fact, that's Peter's recommendation is Advanced Tree Service,
Advantage.
Advantage.
We don't have we don't have an exact number, right? So we wanna go
No,
back-
again, I didn't
Okay.
wanna, in case they do, in case they make great time, then they can go ahead and kinda do some more work.
Sure.
So I didn't wanna kinda stick us in a box where,
I guess, how do you want me to make the motion? Just make the motion
Just,
to hire Advantage Tree?
based at the quote provided, at the rates provided
At the
in
rates
their quote
provided,
sheet.
okay, I make a motion to hire Advantage Enterprises, Inc. at the quotes provided for cleaning up the, making a rodent on a property.
Okay,
Second.
okay, I've got a second. Any additional discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Abstain.
Paul abstained. Very good. Okay, any old business? Okay, other business?
Gee, I'd like to bring some more business up.
No, we're running real good here. Okay,
Sorry.
that's fine. So our next, regular scheduled meeting is June 17th. And, anything else? Anyone got anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, I get a motion to adjourn. I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, everybody, thank you very much.